Hey guys, how's it going and welcome to the Minute channel. Today we'll be reviewing 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. This game has been out for about a month already, so it took me some time to beat this game. Not because it's long, just because I had other things going on and I was streaming the entirety of the game, so I had to match with my schedule and everything like that. So I do apologize for the lateness on this video, but let's go ahead and start with this video. So first of all, let's go ahead and talk about the story in this game. This has something that I didn't expect from this game, and this is a really good story. It's actually one of the best stories that I played this year. Overall, it's just I don't know what I expected from this game. When I knew a little bit about this game, and I knew that it had 13 different characters. So my main worry about this game was how they were going to be able to handle 13 different stories with 13 different characters, and can I just make sense of overall. And they actually did a really good job as far as kind of managing everything together. I was really happy to see how the characters like come together and how the story just starts from one end to the next one and everything. And it really did a really good job. I'm really shockingly surprised as how well they were able to put it all together. So what is the story about? The story about is obviously, like I mentioned, 13 different characters across different timelines, whether it's and anything between 1944 to 2025, 2066. There's all these different time eras and everything like that, and these different characters come across these giant robots that they're able to use, and they use them to fight these kaiju, these monsters that are invading their timelines. As they develop through the story, you find out they actually are able to time travel between different eras, and they kind of move around and everything. And the story is not really cohesive at first because you have different timelines and different stories going on, but I promise you the story does kind of mesh together. They kind of explain what things are coming from and everything, and I really found it really fascinating and really fitting whenever things didn't make sense, and then you finally have that good moment when you kind of know what's going on and you feel really good about what's going on. So I really enjoyed that part of the story. I feel like the story was really well executed, and again, I really like the way they handle all the different characters. I will give the story a 10 out of 10. I think that is really definitely one of the best stories so far this year. Didn't know how this was gonna turn out because time travel can be iffy sometimes, and some people don't like the way that works. But this game really explains how that works, and it really explains how this all comes together and everything. And it is really satisfying. Definitely check this game out because of the story. But let's go ahead and talk about the gameplay, which is the other part of the game, which I've been thinking about quite a bit. I think the gameplay is what's going to get some people not to play this game, and I kind of get where they're coming from on this time, because it's definitely not something that is for everybody. I think that the gameplay is an RTS game, which obviously already people, when it comes to playing RPGs, is not like the number one popularity thing or anything like that. I definitely see why some people wouldn't check this game out. Now, if you're interested in this game, it does play kind of a little bit like Fire Emblem games will play, except that it doesn't have the whole flash animations or anything like that. It's really bare bones when it comes to the way that it looks and everything. And I can see again why some people wouldn't enjoy it. So you have as I mentioned earlier, you're piloting your mechs, and you're finding these creatures, and the screen just basically shows you where all the different enemies are, and you have different skills for these different characters, and you can choose your teams and choose what you want to do and how you want to handle that and everything. Overall, I mentioned this on a podcast that I was the other day, but I feel like this game is really easy overall. I played it on normal and I changed the difficulty to intense, and I still didn't have problems. Now, some missions can be hard, but overall I never really found a mission where I couldn't really beat it or anything like that. If I made a mistake, it was definitely my mistake, but it does definitely feel like this game was made for people who never played RTS, or people who are not really interested in the genre. As much as I don't like the genre, I do understand, like I know there's a lot of intricacy to it, and I don't feel like this intricacy was in here. I feel like it was a good attempt at doing what they were trying to do, but I think in some aspects it definitely fails. Now, the gameplay is not bad. I don't want to make sure people understand that the gameplay is not bad. I just don't feel like it was exceptional as well done and executed as a story. So to me, it kind of feels like a disjoint between, yes, you should definitely play this game because it has a really wonderful story, but at the same time, I can see why the combat is something that people won't be attracted to. So I can see both sides of that. Now, there is another side of the gameplay which I haven't talked about, and it's what you see in the screens here, which is the 2D side scrolling, where you're in different areas and you're just talking to characters, and kind of unlocking more of the story. So the way that it works out is you go and approaches different characters. You have this cloud of thoughts where all your thoughts are, or the characters' thoughts are there. You are able to interact with those thoughts as well as the environment where you're talking to people or talking to whatever is in the environment. Whether it's like you can get some a can of soda, or you can eat some food, or you can do all these different actions, and those actions trigger different events, and those events trigger different parts of the story. As you move forward, there are different exploration things that you have to do to kind of unlock more of the story to see and everything like that. That part of the gameplay, I found it really interesting. I never played a game that played like that, but I really like what they did with this, because it does kind of make you feel like you're in the environment and you're enjoying that environment. And at the same time, I feel like it was really well executed, and I really like that part. I think that that's probably easily the best part of the story that makes the most sense, or the best part of the gameplay that makes more sense. However, again, the other side of the combat, I didn't feel like it was really well executed. I think I'm gonna give the gameplay a 7 out of 10. It's still really good and it's still really fun to play through. I personally invested extra time on myself, just kind of leveling up my characters and going through different missions again. And even when you finish the game, you still unlock more gameplay modes that you can do and everything. So definitely there's some replayability value to it. I just don't feel like it was worth it enough for me to kind of go and play through the game another time or anything like that. There's no value on that aspect, so I just want to show where I'm coming from on that end. So the last part of the main review here is going to be the performance and the way that the game plays, looks and feels and everything. And this game is definitely beautiful. There's an art style that they're using here, which you don't really see often. Everything feels like it was hand drawn and hand painted and everything, and it's just beautiful to look at. All the animations, all the different character designs and everything is really well put together. You can definitely appreciate where everything is coming from. The light reflections, everything is just so well crafted, and it feels like it will be a shame for people not to look or play this game just because of the visuals and how beautiful they are. Overall, I feel like this is one of the strongest selling points for this game. If I were to say one thing that really just shows why this game should be played, is because how beautiful and how well the story crafted is together. And I just like those two aspects because it really does work with the story and what it's trying to say there. So that's easily one of the best parts. One of the other parts is gonna be the music. Now the music in this game is really they're going for an aesthetic of the 1980s, and it does feel here, it feels really futuristic on that 80s style and everything. They definitely make a lot of reference to things like Terminator and Back to the Future, time traveling games and that kind of stuff. It's really part of the core experience here, and there's so many references here. They make references to E.T., they make reference to a lot of those kind of future 80s movies and everything, and you can definitely see that here. In fact, the fact that they use kaiju as kind of the way that reference these monsters that are attacking your town and everything, definitely made for an audience that loves that 1980s futuristic movies and everything. And you can definitely see that here. Even when you see the future, definitely everything just feels so 80s and just so at home if you're into that kind of stuff. So I really like that stuff, including the music, which was really well executed, and it really goes for something really good. Now overall, I mentioned performance, and I want to talk about this. The game obviously performs well when you're doing the 2D stuff, but when you are performing the battles and everything, which is really odd to me because this is such a small game. I think this game is like about 4 gigabytes when I downloaded it, and for some reason it struggles so hard when you're in certain parts of the battle, when you're fighting a lot of different characters and you're using a lot of attacks and everything. The frames drop through a really sad space, and this is the PS4 Pro. It shouldn't have any issues like that, but it definitely does have a lot of these issues, and it does show multiple times. It's not something that you can see just one time. It's definitely something that happens multiple times throughout the story and everything, and it does feel like it does drag the experience of the gameplay, especially if you already don't like the gameplay. This is definitely not gonna help you at all as far as like enjoying the gameplay more or something like that. Overall, I'm gonna give performance and the aesthetics and everything a 9 out of 10. Again, I love the looks and feels and the sounds and music that they added for it. I just don't love how it performed on the PlayStation Pro, because again, it plays games that it definitely handles better. This game for some reason just struggles so hard in certain parts. I don't understand why, but overall I'm gonna give this game a 9 out of 10. I feel like this is a really good game. I really enjoyed the experience of the game, and it's definitely not a game for everybody. Again, I don't see why a lot of people buy this for $60. Definitely this feels more like a $40 game or $39.99 game. To me, it is a good experience, and the story is really well crafted, but it does feel more compact, more indie, and that's what it is going for. And if you are into that kind of stuff, you definitely should support this. Vanillaware makes really good games. I definitely need all the support they can get from fans and everything. So anyway, that is pretty much my review here. Thank you so much for watching this. If you're new, please consider liking and subscribing, and I'll see you guys next time.